Namaste everyone. In this video we shall solve a question related to mathematics. It is from a chapter called Coordinate Geometry of class 10 CBSE. This question was asked in the recent CBSE board examination 2023 standard mathematics question paper. Now in this question there is a person by name Jagadish, and he has a field which is in the shape of a right angle triangle AQC. You can see AQC, it's a right angle triangle. His field, Jagadish's field, is in the shape of a right angle triangle AQC. He wants to leave a space in the form of a square PQRS. As you can see, PQRS is a square. PQRS is a square inside the field for growing wheat and remaining for growing vegetables. In the field there is a pole marked O. So this is the pole here. This is the pole. Here there is a pole, and within the square portion of this field he is willing to grow wheat, and in the remaining portion, this region which is again a right angle triangle, and this portion which is again a right angle triangle, he wants to grow vegetables there. Fine. Based on the above information, answer the following questions. Before we answer this question, before we see how to solve this problem, I have a request. If you want to get online tutored by me, please contact this number 9742774659 through phone call or WhatsApp for online tuitions. For online tuitions only, subjects math, physics and chemistry. So before you would like to contact, you can look at the videos which I have made. These videos are available in my channel Vinayaka AV. Please have a look at them, and if you're convinced that I can tutor your child or tutor you in an effective way, please contact this number 9742774659. Also please subscribe before you watch this video. If you have not subscribed, please share and like if you really like my explanation. Thank you. Now let's get back to this question. So here, taking O as the origin, so O should be taken as the origin, and we know the coordinates of the origin are 0, 0. Coordinates of P are minus 200, 0. There is a point P, its coordinates are minus 200, 0. I have marked it. And the coordinates of Q should be taken as 200, 0. And of Q means coordinates of Q are 200, 0. PQRS being a square. PQRS is being a square. What are the coordinates? PQRS being a square, he is asking what are the coordinates of R and S. Now, let's have a close look at the coordinates of Q. It is 200, 0. It's 0 here because it is lying on the x-axis. We know the ordinate of a point which lies on x-axis is 0. But how come this is 200? So this will be 200 if you take this value as 100. So if you take each unit as 100 units of square, then this becomes 100, this becomes 200. Similarly, you can check how is this minus 200. If this is 0, if this is the origin, means if this is 0 here, the value of x is 0 here, then this should be minus 100, then this becomes minus 200. So from this it is clear that each unit is equal to 200, each unit is equal to 100 units of this square. So each unit of this graph is equal to 100 units of this square. Now we are supposed to tell what are the coordinates of R and S. For that, we just need to know what is the value of 1 unit here in a vertical direction. Now before that, we know that abscissa is defined as the distance of a point from the y-axis. It's clear that Q and R are equidistant from the y-axis. This is the y-axis here. and because q and r are equidistant from the y-axis and abscissa is the perpendicular distance of a point from the y-axis, we can say the abscissa of q is equal to abscissa of r, or abscissa of r should be equal to abscissa of q, which is 200. So in this way we'll be able to determine the abscissa of the point r. So we need to determine one more coordinate of r, which is nothing but the ordinate. For that we need to know what is the value of 1 unit of this graph. uh, Here PQRS is a square. PQRS is a square, so PQ should be equal to QR. All the sides of a square are equal. So if this PQ is equal to QR, and if this PQ is divided into 4 parts, and QR is also, you can see, is divided into 4 parts, so the value of each part should be equal, and we already know the value of each unit along the x-axis is equal to 100 units. So the value of each unit uh, along a line parallel to y-axis or along vertical direction will also be equal to 100 units. So this will be 100, this will be 200, this will be 300, this will be 400. So in this way we can determine that the coordinates of the point are 200 comma 400. In this way I hope it is clear how this is 400. Same approach should be used here. For that you can observe that the points r and s are equidistant from the x-axis. How do we define ordinate? So we can define ordinate as the perpendicular distance of a point from the x-axis because r is equidistant from, or it is equidistant to the point S from the x-axis, we can say the ordinate of r and s are equal. So I would like to write this as ordinate of this point is 400, and point P and S are equidistant from the y-axis, that is the abscissa of S should be equal to the point P, which is minus 200 400. So what are the coordinates of r and s? Coordinates of r and s will be 200 comma 400 and minus 200 comma 400 respectively. So there is one more hint to us which is there in the question, which confirms that the value of 1 unit of this graph is equal to 100 units. For that you can just look at the third sub question where the point is 200 comma 800. Now the point is A is here. It's like how many units is it away from the x-axis? So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So 8 units of this graph should be equal to 800. So 8 units is equal to 800 means 1 unit will be equal to 100. 1 unit will be equal to 100. In this way also we can confirm that the value of 1 unit in the vertical direction is 100 units. So anyways, now coming back to this question, in the first question they have asked us to determine the coordinates of the point r and s. So we shall answer that. Coordinates of point r and s. So the coordinates of r are 200 comma 400 and the coordinates of s are minus 200 comma 400. So I've just written this here. Okay, now what is the area of square PQRS? What is the area of square PQRS? So what is the area of square? We know area of square is equal to side into side or side square. Side into side or side square. So if I know the length of one of the sides of the square, then you can easily determine the area of square. So what is the length of one side? You can just you can find out. Now what is the length of QR? QR is representing the perpendicular distance of the point R from the x-axis. The perpendicular distance from the x-axis a perpendicular distance of a point from the x-axis is called ordinate. So what is the ordinate here? The ordinate of point R is 400. In this way we can say that the value of the side is equal to 400, and it needs to be square to find the area of the square. Or there is another way of determining what is the length of each side. So each unit corresponds to 100 units. Each unit of this graph corresponds to 100 units of square. So 100, 200, 300, 400. So why are we taking only this side? Why can't we take the horizontal side? We can take it, say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 unit will be equal to 100 units. So 4 units of this square will be equal to 400 units. 1 unit of this graph will be equal to 100 units. So 4 units of this graph will be equal to 400 units of this square. So in this way also we can say that the length of side is 400. So 400 square will be 16 followed by 1, 2, 3, 4. So many square units. So this is the area of the square. So area of square PQRS, area of square PQRS will be equal to 1,60,000 square units. So we have answered the second sub question, wherein we were supposed to find the area of the square PQRS, and we know it is equal to 1,60,000 square units. There is a choice question in the exam. You can answer either this or this. So we shall answer this question. So we shall answer even this question, as we are practicing this question. In exam you can either answer this or this, whichever you find easier. Now coming back to this question, what is the length of diagonal PR in square PQRS? So PR, it is clear that this PR is a diagonal. It's a diagonal. So we need to find out what is its length. So for finding the length of PR, the diagonal PR, we can use two approaches here. One approach is you can use the distance formula, and another approach, we know that diagonal of a square can be written as root 2 into length of side, and in that way also we can determine. We shall use both the ways and check out whether we'll get this value of PR equal in both the cases. So now PR, we need to find the length of PR. So coordinates of P are minus 200 comma 0, and coordinates of R are 200 comma 400. So let's mark this point. This is the third this is the choice question, that is B. So let's mark this as x1 comma y1. This is x2 comma y2. Means x1 is minus 200, y1 is 0, x2 is 200, y2 will be 400. So we can use distance formula and find the length of PR. So PR will be equal to, that is as per distance formula, PR distance formula is equal to x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. See, sometimes this distance formula is also written as x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Both are same. So because anyways we are getting here this term gets squared. Even if it is negative, it becomes positive. So you can use this or the other one. Anyways, so what is the value of x1 here? X1 is minus 200. What is the value of x2? So there is minus here, minus. What is the value of x2? That is 200 whole square plus y1 is 0 minus, what is the value of y2? It is 400. So this is under square root. So this will be minus 200 minus 200 is minus 400, and 0 minus 400 is minus 400. So like this. So this will be a square of a square. When you square a negative term, it becomes positive. So this will be 400 square, is this much, 1,60,000. Similarly, this is also 1,60,000. So this can be written as 2 into 1,60,000. Now you can easily find that the square root of 16,000. If you want, you can write this like this. So this is square root of this one will be 400. So this is 400 root 2. So 400 root 2 units. So this is the length of diagonal PR. This is the length of diagonal PR. In this way, you can find out the length of diagonal PR as 402 units. Or there is another alternative which is much easier than this, but I did explain this so that the students will have a better understanding of how to use distance formula to find the distance or the length of a side or distance between 2 points. Now there is another alternative which is much easier than this. It says that diagonal of a square is root 2 into length of the side, length of side of square. So here, what is the diagonal of the square in which we are interested? It is PR. So PR will be equal to root 2 into what is the length of side of the square? We already got it as 400. While finding the area of the square, we were able to determine or say that the length of the side of each length of each side of the square is equal to 400. So I'll write 400 here. Root 2 into 400 can be written as 400 root 2. So 400 root 2 units. So you can see these two answers are same. So this is much easier. You can just remember this: diagonal of a square is equal to root 2 into length of side of square. So this will be much easier when you know the length of side. In this way, you can easily determine the diagonal of a square. So we have answered this choice question B as well. Now, if S divides, this is the point S, which divides CA. So you can see that there is CA here, line segment CA, in the ratio K is to 1. In the ratio K is to 1. So this is K units and this will be 1 units. Where A, what is the value of K? Where point A is 200, 800. So the coordinates of this point A are given as 200, 800. Even if it is not given, you can easily determine it as 200, 800 from the graph itself. Okay, they have given the coordinates of A as 200, 800. So we need to find out what is the value of K here. Now here, they say point S is dividing. Whenever they use the word divides, so indirectly they're giving you hint that you have to use a formula called a section formula. We have to use a formula called a section formula. So this formula can be used whenever the word divides is present in the question. So let's use the section formula. So what does section formula say? So we are answering the third sub question. According to section formula, so x is equal to kx2 plus x1 by k plus 1, or y is equal to ky2 plus y1 by k plus 1. We can use this one or this one. So here let's have a clarity on what is x, what is x2, what is x1, what is y2, what is y1, what is y. So this will help those students who are struggling to understand what is section formula and how to use it. So now here, first of all, let us determine the coordinates of point C. So how far is it away from the origin? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 6 units far from the point origin. So 1 unit will correspond to 100 units, I told you. So therefore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will correspond to to 600 here, or it's called, the abscissa will be equal to 600, but because it is towards the left of the origin, towards negative x-axis or on the negative x-axis, so I can write it as minus 600 comma, and C lies on x-axis. On x-axis the ordinate or the y coordinate will be 0. So the coordinates of C will be minus 600 comma 0. Now coordinates of S we have already determined as minus 200 comma 400. Coordinates of A they themselves have given. Now I'll just redraw this part of the given figure. So here I'll just draw CA. The coordinates of C, just now we determined that minus 600 comma 0. So minus 600 comma 0. Coordinates of A, they have given us 200 comma 800, and the point S, which is dividing this CA in the ratio k is to 1, is minus 200 comma 400, minus 200 comma 400. So we just need to determine the value of k. So k is to 1. So we are assuming that the point S is dividing the line segments A in the ratio k is to 1. So now let's treat this as x1 y1, this as x2 y2. The coordinates of the point which will divide the line segment should be treated as x and y. So the coordinates of the point which divides the line segment should be treated as x and y. The coordinates of the end points of the line segment can be taken as x1 y1, x2 y2, or this can be taken as x1 y1, this can be taken as x2 y2. So let's use this. If you want, you can even use this. So what is the value of x? X value is minus 200. K value is what we have to determine. X2 value is 200 plus x1. X1 is minus 600 by k plus 1. By k plus 1. So minus 200 is equal to 200k, plus into minus is minus, minus 600 by k plus 1. So cross multiply this. 200 into k plus 1 will be equal to 200k minus 600. So this will be minus 200k, minus into plus will be minus, minus 200. This will be equal to 200k minus 600. So don't be in a hurry and cancel minus 200k and plus 200k. They are not equal, so you cannot cancel. So you can just bring this minus 600 to the LHS. It becomes 600. So my 600 minus 200. This 200k I'm writing as it is. This minus 200k, when I transpose it to the RHS, it becomes plus 200k. So this will be 400. This will be 200k plus 200k is 400k, which can be written as 400 into k. So what is the value of k then? So if I transpose this 400, this multiplication becomes division. So 400 divided by 400. 400 divided by 400 is 1. So what is the value of k? K value is equal to 1. In this way, we have solved all the 3 sub questions, including the choice question. So I hope you have understood how we have solved these 3 sub questions. Please subscribe, like and share. Please do watch other videos available in my channel. I have made videos on concepts of physics, chemistry and mathematics. Thank you for watching. Thank you again.